Please be seated. Please join me in the opening prayer. Father, let me continually give you the opportunity to praise. I thank you that I am alive to serve you today. I praise your name because you have counted me as your own. Though Satan has attempted to destroy me, you have protected me and delivered me from his threats. I bless you because your promises are ever with me, and your presence is above me, beneath me, and on all sides. I affirm that there is no circumstance that I must endure alone. By your grace, I want to give you thanks in all things. In Jesus' name, amen.
Y'all have heard this sometimes this year. You should be able to sing along right now.
These are the days of improvement, righteousness, peace. I'm in the music of my troubles. I'm coming and coming my home. We are the world. The trials we come as flesh. These are the days of discouragement. Demons revealed in the temple of praise. These are the days of the warnings. These are the signs in the world. And these are the days in getting ready to run alone. Holy, bright lights, shining lights. Also because in your heart, you are the
Kids? Still impressed with your dad, right? Right. That's right. Okay. Really wacky pop quiz. Something I don't think we've ever mentioned to you specifically, but Susan, what do you think the Bible is about? The whole thing, like the whole book, cover to cover, what do you think the Bible is about? Mary, yes. God, the people who follow God, important, good, definitely. I would say that covers the characters of the Bible, not necessarily what it's about, but God and the people who follow God. Good thinking though. Yes, very good. Jesus and the people who follow Jesus. All right, so we have God and the people who follow God. We have Jesus and the people who follow Jesus. We have now covered the split between the Old and New Testament. That's true. It's good. Got that far. Adam, want to wager a guess here? The time from God, so like the beginning of time is when Jesus died. The Bible actually goes a little further than that. You know, of course, resurrection, there are things in the Bible after that. Well, believe it or not, the Bible has a lot of different stories, right? A lot of different things going on. You have people conquering giants, you have floods, you have Jesus dying, being resurrected, you have this guy named Paul who wrote a whole bunch of letters to a whole bunch of churches, kind of trying to help their people out and trying to help the people, the neighboring areas where they live. You have this crazy thing in the end of the Bible, the book of Revelation, which is like prophecy, it's looking ahead to all of the craziness at the end of the world, at the end of times, things that people from back then didn't even describe. And yet, all of those things have one thing in common. Anyone? Adults? Anyone?
They all have
Well, it is history, but more importantly than that, the thing that every story in the Bible, every book of the Bible has in common is love. I know that's really weird, that's really important to think about, but think about it this way. So you have all these people, way back in the day in Egypt, being completely oppressed, and these are God's chosen people. And so God essentially says to Moses, hey, bring my people out of there. And they fight the bad guys, they escape, they part the sea, they get all the way to this land of milk and honey, and the whole time, the whole trip there, they are saying how awful God is, and how much they want to worship someone else. And it's just not working out. And the whole time, God gave them peace, says, you know what, man, I still love you, we're still going to make this work. To the point where, as we go all the way through history, we have all of these things that all of humans are doing wrong. That God pretty much said, you know what, I love you guys so much. You guys have messed up so bad that I'm going to send my son, the only one I got, to come and die for you guys. Because that's how I love you. And every story from beginning to end, all of them, every single piece is about God loving us and wanting us to love each other. Have we done that? Would you say all through this, ever since the Bible was written, would you say we as humans have loved each other successfully? You're all looking at me like I have 10 heads, so that's telling me no. Meredith said the look on her face like, how dare you even question that? It's true. It's such an interesting thing that God's biggest commandment, Jesus' biggest thing that he wanted people to do, love your neighbor as you love your God. And yet, that's the one thing you can't get right. So I challenge you guys as kids, although you think love's a weird thing, I understand that you're looking at me, I said you're very weird, Adam's stroking his metaphor weird, I can appreciate it. I challenge you guys to find some way today to love just people in your Sunday school class, maybe your parents, maybe even someone else in this church. Find a way to show them love. Let's pray. Lord, you give us all these great stories, all these tremendous things that happen in the Bible, all of these wonders and miracles, things we could never imagine ourselves. And Lord, at the end of the day, the thing that you want most for us is to be loved by you, to love you, and to love our neighbors as we love ourselves and as we love our parents. And Lord, our neighbors, that doesn't just mean our friends. It could mean anybody. It could mean enemies, it could mean people across the world, Lord. But that's what you call us to do, is to love our neighbors and to show you your love to the rest of the world. And grant us the ability and the will to do that. In your Son's holy name. Amen. Let me get her.
This morning's scripture reading is Jeremiah 29, verses 11 to 14. It's in your Pew Bible on page 1221. I was going to say I can just read it out. So.
Thank you for being flexible, but effectively focused.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. If I will be found by you, I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile. May the Lord bless this reading.
Our second scripture reading this morning comes from the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 5 through 9. Young men, in the same way, be submissive to those who are older. All of you, clothe yourselves with humility towards one another, because God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. Be self-controlled and alert. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. Resist him, standing firm in the faith, because you know that your brothers throughout the world are undergoing the same kind of sufferings. I'm going to roll on. So, in the past 2 years since I've been here, a lot has changed in this building. We have kind of an all-new music thing going on. That's cool. Bells are tremendous, unbelievable. The praise team's having fun. Choir sounds great. Downstairs, we have the fruit pantry where they serve over 100 families a month. That's crazy. Sunday school is rocking and rolling. Now we have a curriculum that's hands-on. The kids seem to be enjoying it. We're making Sunday school feel more like Vacation Bible School. Overall, I would say Pastor Charlie trying to create his worship experience has been so far successful. In other words, business is booming. But there's one problem. We celebrated 3 or 4 weeks ago our 125th anniversary of the Sunday school, and in all of that time, Sandy and I did some research. We were looking around for the numbers of people that are here. We were trying to find people that are still in the congregation, and there was a time when there were 1,000 kids in Sunday school. 1,000 kids. Let that sink in. 1,000. I have never seen 1,000 kids in a single room, let alone talk in a Sunday school class. So I started thinking to myself as we're going through all this history, hey, where are all the kids? What are we doing nowadays? What's going on? Now, if you guys heard my testimony, you know that when I came to find God and Jesus as my Savior when I was 18 years old. I went the entire time before that not really believing that there was a God or anything of that nature. And when I found God, I decided, you know what, I got to make up for lost time here. So I took the Bible and I decided I'm going to read this thing cover to cover. So I sat down and I started pounding out the Bible. I got on a program on this website called Bible Gateway, which is tremendous if you want to read the whole Bible, by the way. And I got on this program on Bible Gateway and I started knocking the whole thing out. Now let me tell you something. As you're reading through the Bible, there are these great stories that we all know and love. But at the same time, there are these really weird books that from top to bottom are like 40 pages of here are the things you can and cannot do if you want to belong to our group. Now, this is really interesting because I can tell you right away that in that list, I have broken about 30 of those rules this morning. I plan on breaking 10 more this afternoon, and I will probably break 20 before the end of the day without even knowing it. And yet, here I am. So where are all the kids? When I finally started reading these rules, I started to come across pieces of the puzzle kind of that explained to me why church was the way it was. I stumbled upon the story of Jesus teaching his disciples how to pray, and that led to the Lord's Prayer and everything. And I started talking about why we should gather together in fellowship, and there are all these great things in the Bible about why it is we come together. And about the same time, I decided, man, church is a hot mess. What is this? Why does anybody do the things we do? Why don't we go up? The call to worship, the leader could walk up there and stand and say whatever they want, and you guys know to respond. But let's say hypothetically you didn't. Let's say hypothetically this is your first day in the church. The leader walks up, says what they say, and you guys all stare at them. That could happen. But for some reason, over time, we have kind of developed this tradition that we're all a part of. Weird thing about Christianity, we really can't let anything go. Now, I thought maybe that you guys would appreciate me finding out exactly where all the kids are. I decided that when we started this 6 weeks ago, I was going to go on a little bit of a bender. I was going to do the most chaotic way humanly possible with real market research. That's right. I went out and I asked kids if they went to church, what drew them there. If they didn't go to church, why not? Went out, asked about 100 kids, 100 kids between the age of 11 and 14 years old. Started out with someone that I know very well. You guys, a lot of you know that I'm a middle school teacher, and so I started out with one that I know well. And I asked him, I said, hey, he showed me the name, of course, to keep the anonymous polls in place. I said to him, I said, hey, if I asked you to do something, would you do it? He said, of course I would. I said, anything in the world. He said, of course. Anything in the world. No matter how terrible, no matter how gross. He said, no matter, I would do it. I promise I would do it. I said, even if the thing was bad, even if you knew it was bad, I asked you to do it, would you do it? He said, absolutely, I would do it. Would you come to church with me? Absolutely not. Okay. Why not? He said, man, you ever been to church? Yeah, sometimes. I go every Sunday. All right. Those people are scary, man. Fair enough. Decided to ask someone else. Went up, asked a young girl, she was 13 years old. I said to her, hey, have you ever or would you ever be interested in going to church? She said, man, you crazy? I said, what are you talking about? I said, dude, just Google church people, man. They're terrifying. I'm not going in there. You out of your mind? I'm not doing that. All right. I was feeling pretty low. I'm only on my second candidate. I don't think this is going to go so well. So I go up to the third person, who is the daughter of a pastor. I'm thinking to myself, this one has to work out. This is at least going to get me moving in the right direction. This is going to make me feel better about all the research. And I said to her, I said, hey, why do you go to church? I know you go to church. Why? She said, are you stupid? You know why I go to church. That's fine. So you go to church because your dad's a pastor. Would you go on your own if that wasn't the case? She said, absolutely not. I thought that was pretty fun. I said, why not? And she, who was a very bright girl, quoted Mahatma Gandhi. I really like their Christ, but I really dislike their Christians. And see, that's interesting. That's really something, isn't it? I started to panic a little bit, and I went to the only person I knew who could make me feel better about this is, I was planning to do this 100-person research question, thinking, my goodness, all 100 of them are going to tell me I'm a terrible person. I don't know if I can handle that. I went to talk to my father, who was my youth leader when I was a kid, and someone who has a great head on his shoulders, someone who really understands Christians and Christianity. And I said to him, I said, why do you think this is happening? And he said, well, not to be blunt, but it's just not that important anymore. What do you mean? My father said, well, it's just not, it used to be a thing. It used to be, this was just part of your week. You would wake up Monday through Friday, you'd go to school. Saturday, maybe go play a sport or something. Sunday morning, you'd wake up and you'd go to church with your whole family, and you'd go and you'd sit in a congregation with 600 people, and that was just a thing. That's just what it was. But nowadays, it's just not that important. And I said, why not? He said, I don't know. So it was back to the street. It was back to asking the kids again. It was back to going after them. But I decided I was going to call an audible. I was going to throw a little curveball. Because, my market itself, where kids from 11 to 14, but what about younger kids than that? Those kids aren't coming either, and they have parents and families, and they can't drive themselves, obviously. So I'm gonna go ask some parents. After school, almost every day at my school, there are a bunch of parents and families who hang out on the playground outside of school and hang out. So these are all people I have pretty good relationships with. They all know, that I work here and I have a youth group, and that's not weird where I come from, which is, strange in a public school actually. But I went out and started talking to some parents. I said, hey, do you guys go to church here in town? And they said, no, not at all. Why not? And a lot of them just said, we don't have time, sometimes we have sports, and sometimes. A parent that I happen to really, really like, the father of a boy who played Captain Hook in my school's Peter Pan production, someone that I've spoken to a lot, gave me a much more honest answer. I said, hey, why don't you take your kids to church? Why don't you go to church? If nothing else, why don't you go and then bring your kids later, send your kids to Sunday school, you don't even have to go. What's your motivation? He said, I don't want my kids around those kind of people. Fair enough. Now, you may think to yourself, why am I telling you all this? This is a quite dark sermon for a Sunday morning in June, on a beautiful, bright summer day. And the reason I'm telling you this is because, believe it or not, we are all at fault. All of us. Me, you, everyone on the outside, every church within a mile of here, every church around the world. We've all done it. We're all currently doing it. You see, for some reason, these kids don't feel welcome. They feel like they don't belong. Like I said, Christians have this thing where they have trouble letting things go. I think there sometimes is still the mantra, children should be seen and not heard. I think sometimes, people expect kids to be what they were 50 years ago. And you look around now, and that's simply not the case. I decided to continue with my research. I started asking some more kids, started asking some more middle schoolers. Decided I was really going to swing for the fences. And I asked a young lady who very recently came out of the closet as homosexual, and I said to her, hey, do you go to church? She said, no, I do not. I said, why not? She said, do I have to tell you? That in itself should tell you everything you need to know. You see, it's not just that. It's not just a particular group of people. For whatever reason, we as a group, as a population, all around the world, Christians have decided, for some reason, to make this our little club and to force everyone else out. And it's sad. It really is. Around the world right now, in Europe specifically, there is a giant movement called the Coexist movement. It started off in Sweden. It's really, really big. They're trying to get all religious groups to kind of meet together and share space together and work together with themselves. It doesn't matter if they are Islamic, it doesn't matter if they study the Tao Te Ching, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, Christian, agnostic, or otherwise. They're trying to get everyone together because that's what it takes. You know that in this very country that we live in now, in our very own conference, in our very own United Methodist Discipline, that they went to a church council or a conference whenever they met several weeks ago, and they were talking about letting certain other populations of people get married in the church. And they decided that they couldn't come to an agreement, and it was going to take 2 years to make a decision. You know what could happen in 2 years? We could be sitting around 2 years from now talking about Martians marrying each other, and we're going to let that happen. But honestly, with the way the church functions, we would probably tell Martians to go worship somewhere else. That's what it's become. And it's sad. I'm going to make a small parallel here to kind of working with middle school kids as to what the church is and what Christianity is as a whole. We have a process that we all follow by whenever a child determines or perceives that they're being bullied. And basically, we determine 3 groups of people in the case. We determine the bully, the victim, and group number 3. Does anyone know what group number 3 is? It's the most important group of all. Anyone?
Neighbors.
Bystanders, that's right. That's absolutely right. So you have the bully, the victim, and the bystanders. Let me tell you something. This building, this church right now, metaphorically, puns aside, I feel as though I'm basically almost preaching to the choir. I feel like you guys know. I feel like you guys get what's going on. But let me tell you something. There are a lot of churches out there that protest funerals, that protest weddings, protest other religious gatherings, and those people have become the voice of what being a Christian is. And that leaves the rest of us to either do something or not. We have become the bystanders. And the bystanders in a bullying case are the most important group of people. And they're the most important people in removing bullying from a school. They're the most important people from removing conflict from any situation. Because you have one side, which is trying to get all the power. You have one side, which has none of the power. And you have the side in the middle, the bystanders, where we all sit at this very moment. And we have all the power. Because we collectively could stand up and say, no, this is not what we're all about. Or we can say, it's one time, we'll let this go. We'll let it go and see what happens. Now, we as bystanders have plausibly the most important job. How do we get kids back? How do we fill the pews of the church? How do we pump fun and youth into praising God? This is important, isn't it? Don't you want all your kids to know about Jesus Christ? Don't you want all your kids to know about God? Don't you want to feel very confident that if something happened to you or to them tomorrow, you know where they were going? How do we get them back? How do we get it all back? The answer is really simple on paper. It's really hard in practice. And it's going to take some honest-to-goodness work from every single one of you. And it's going to take some honest-to-goodness effort. And this has to be a team effort. This can't be like one person's going to go for it, the rest of the people are going to sit around. That'll make you look like a mess. This has to be a group, joint effort, and it's not just here. It's not just on Sunday morning. It's every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for the rest of your life. I want you to think back to the moment that you first believed. I want you to think back to when you first decided that there was an ultimate creator in this universe. I want you to think back to when you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jesus Christ was your Lord and Savior and that He died for you. And I want you to remember how hungry you were. I want you to remember the fire of the moment. A lot of us are kids, yeah? How many of you, were kids when you first heard about God? Yeah, right. Do you remember being a kid? Remember being a kid and learning things? I love it. It's one of the best parts about being a teacher. When a kid learns something for the first time, you watch them what they want it. They want more of it. Their eyes light up. Their mouths start to water. These kids get excited. Do you remember what it was like to learn about God at the beginning? This is such an abstract thought. This is crazy. This guy upstairs made all of this stuff, and he made humans on the sixth day, and the seventh day he took it off. You know how he did it? He did it so that we could live here and love each other. And now, almost 2,000 years later, that's gone. Like I said to the kids before, the Bible, with all of its stories, are truly about one thing. Truly about one thing. All the things that Jesus Christ Himself talked about. Of all the things that are still quoted from the Bible, everything that even non-Christians believe about the teachings of the Son of God, one thing remains. Love your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind, and love your neighbors as you love yourself and as you love your God. Love your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind, and love your neighbors as you love yourself and as you love your God. And guess what? Jesus doesn't say, the people who go to church, those are the people you should love. Everyone else, I give them a little bit less, we don't need the effort. But, this is for everybody. Your neighbors are everybody. Every single person in this world needs to feel the fire that you felt when you first believed. Everything that we do in church, not everything, but most things that we do in church, those are for us. Those are to strengthen us. When we sing these songs, that's for us. When we sing, when we hear these messages, that's for us. Our beautiful architecture, man, that's for us. But what God wants us to give to every other person is the love of Jesus Christ, his Son. So here's your challenge. And it's got to be all of you. Because if it's just one, if it's just a few, y'all are going to look like fools. Find that hunger. Find that desire. Find the will to learn. Find the will to love. And stop standing by while our brothers and sisters shut the door on other people who just want to enter the kingdom of heaven with us. Let us pray. Dear God, sometimes I think we forget your most important message. Sometimes I think we get caught up in our own junk here in church. Sometimes I think we get caught up in our own rules. Lord, your commandment is clear. It is crystal clear. Love our God with all our heart, all our soul, and all our mind, and love our neighbors as we love God. Lord, put that love back into our heart. Jesus, come to each one of us and give us the strength that we need to stand up and start loving those who need love. In your Son's holy name. Amen. Our next hymn this morning is When We All Get to Heaven, number 701 in your hymnal. We are truly blessed by God's love and by all things that God has given to us. And we are reminded in giving back to the Lord and all that He has given us in this morning's tithes and offerings.
this is a rather fun song, I think, a little bit anyway. Oh good, they're on the screen. The words to the chorus are on the screen. I invite you to join us, or join me when I sing it. And maybe even clap to the beat of the music if the spirit moves you. We are a family, God's family. We are a family, we are one. We are a family, God's family. We are a family, we are one. Hey mother, part of the family. Hey teacher, hey pastor, you're part too. Hey friend, hey stranger, part of the family. Hey everybody needs me and you. We are family, God's family. We are family, we are one. We are family, God's family. We are family, we are one. Hey sister, hey brother, part of the family. Hey father, hey worker, you're part too. Hey neighbor, hey traveler, part of the family. Hey everybody needs me and you. We are family, God's family. We are family, we are one. We are family, God's family. We are family, we are one. We are family, God's family. We are family, we are one. We are family, God's family. We are family, we are one.
Please use all of these gifts and all of the gracious things that have been given to you to further your kingdom and spread the love of your Son, Jesus Christ. In his holy name we pray. Amen. May you sit. So, next up, we are going to kind of do something that wouldn't happen normally in a church service. We are giving out some recognition to some fine young men and women who have accomplished some great things rather recently. Now, I personally have quite the joy today in doing this because, well, some of these kids I've gotten to know over the past 2 years, and I'll repeat a little thing that I said to them when we were all at Keswick together. I spent 5 years in college, as a lot of people did, becoming teachers. And my last year in college, my advisor would sit down and we did a lot of student teaching in northern Philadelphia, some really difficult places in northern Philly. And my student teacher was really, or not my student teacher, my advisor rather, was really obsessed with saying, you know, we need good teachers in bad places. We need the best teachers in the worst places. We need good teachers in bad places. We need the best teachers in the worst places. Because kids need people like you. Now, I generally, when my father started our youth group back when I was a kid, I would say genuinely that we were kids that absolutely needed him. We needed a place, we absolutely needed kind of an area to be ourselves, we absolutely needed a place of acceptance for who we were. In the case of our youth group, like I said to them at Keswick, it pumped into my head so many times, thinking that I was going to come here and there were going to be kids that needed me, because we need the best teachers in the worst places. We need good teachers in bad places. We need good teachers in bad places. And like I told them,
I will tell you now, I realized by the grace of God that when I came to Epworth 2 years ago, it wasn't because they needed me, but it was instead, in fact, because I needed them. And these young men and women, well, all women in this case, were so accepting and just who they were, and so awesome about everything, just willing to try new things. They were willing to put up with the torture that I put them through every Sunday for almost 2 years, and somehow it didn't kill me along the way, although time may tell if the rest will. It is with great joy and honor that I deliver some gifts and some awesome recognition to our high school graduates this year. Before I do that, though, so how are we on tech? Because Pastor Charlie left a message for you guys.
What's up?
No, all right, that's fine. But so Pastor Charlie wanted to pass along, if nothing else, that how ridiculously proud of you guys he was. You guys all came up for confirmation, and if I'm not wrong, were you guys like his first confirmation class, or something like that neighborhood? Yeah. Right, and so he just was so like he's so overwhelmed to see you go. He's overjoyed for you and what is coming next. But at the same time, he, as am I, are deeply saddened by that he will not, be with us on a regular basis, and he wants you to know how absolutely proud of you he is. And so when I call your name, I'd like you to come up to the altar and stay here and tight a second, don't run away. Come up to the altar. Our high school graduates are Emma Blostel, come on up, Grace Deramore, Paige D'Amato, Amanda Bakley, and Stephanie Parsacchino, if you guys are here. And our college graduates, pretty cool. Sean Kuhn earned his nursing degree from Rutgers University, and Stephen Schwerin, wow, yeah, awesome, thank you. And Stephen Schwerin earned his psychology and English degrees from the College of New Jersey. So you guys are very coming up. And if not, give everyone a big round of applause. One more round of applause for our tremendous graduates. I have to say, on a very personal thing before you all go, that I hope you guys come back and visit, because not that we don't have tremendous younger folks coming up, of course, but you guys have been such leaders that you will be a lesser place without you. So we hope that you guys come back and spend some time with us, because you are all absolutely amazing. And I personally know that you guys are really awesome. Thank you. Our God has given us some absolutely tremendous gifts, but you know what? Also, this life has given us some absolutely tremendous burdens. Sometimes in our lives, we just have to come to God like children. We have to come to God like little kids with that hunger and those wide eyes and pray out to Him. Because sometimes only our praying and calling out to God convey the message of what it is that we truly need and want in our lives. And we think God hears all things. He answers things in His own way, and sometimes doesn't answer them the way that you want them to. But God hears everything that you say. And we have one prayer about good news. And we are welcoming in, I'll just read what it says, because I don't know who it's from. It says, I have a new great-granddaughter born June 7th. Praise the Lord. Very cool. Yeah, awesome. So we're welcoming some new life into the world. And of course, we have some joys and some things that are heavy on our hearts. So let us bring those things to God as we enter into a time of prayer. Lord, sometimes this world can just be so much, and sometimes we just get hung up and caught up in such menial things, Lord. Man, they're just such great wondrous yet terrible things happening. Lord, I personally pray for all of the folks up in Canada who have been dealing with those wildfires and everything that's been going on there. So many people, thousands of people lost their homes, and luckily, not so many of them lost their lives. Lord, in this world, we bring you things that are heavy on our hearts. We bring you great joy as well in celebration. Like seeing all these graduates as they go on to the next big thing warms our hearts because we know that you have a plan for them. We know that whatever it is, it's going to be absolutely magnificent. So Lord, as we bring our prayers to you this morning, hear us as we respond. Lord, hear our prayers.
Lord, be with Pete's sister as she has chemo for cancer.
Be with all those affected by the shooting in Florida this morning, late last night.
Lord, for my friend Meredith.
Lord, there are so many prayers, some in our hearts, some that go unspoken, but Lord, none of them go unanswered, and none of them go unheard. Because you know our thoughts and you know our souls. You know us better than you know every single hair on our head. And Lord, we thank you for that. We thank you that you are here with us always. And we present to you, Lord, the prayer that your Son taught his disciple that favorite night. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So we're going to do our last thing a little bit differently. This is not normally something we would do, but I kind of want to create a moment remembering what is truly important here. And you know, a lot of times, like I said before, the things that we do in this building, the things that we do as a community are things that are trying to further us, or build ourselves up. And Lord, I think sometimes it gets lost when you're trying to remember and figure out what it is that is absolutely most important. So I'm going to teach you guys a song. And it's really, really easy. It's a lot of repetitive words. So this is something that you guys can all send you have to look at. Even though you don't have technology, it's no big deal. It's super easy. Okay? This song is called Give Me Jesus. Cool? All right. So before we begin, before I pick up my guitar, I'm going to teach you this is how it's going to work. I'm going to do this music teacher style. I'm going to sing something, and you all are going to sing it back. Does that make sense? It's like singing Rocky in concert. You know, it's going to get a little bit. You got it? So I'm going to sing you guys sing that. Cool? Repeat that. In the morning, when I rise, can you sing that? In the morning, when I rise, sing words. In the morning, when I rise, sing that. In the morning, when I rise, good, sing words. In the morning, when I rise, sing that. In the morning, when I rise, give me Jesus, sing that. Give me Jesus. Good. Now the chorus is very similar. We only change one line. It sounds like this. Give me Jesus. Can you sing that? Give me Jesus. Good. Give me Jesus. Can you sing that? Give me Jesus. Good. Then it changes a little bit. You can have all this world. Sing that. You can have all this world. Last line, give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Sing that. Give me Jesus. Sing, you know what? I'll let you know before we change your part. In the morning, when I rise. In the morning, when I rise. In the morning, when I rise. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world. Jesus. Give me Jesus. Next verse is when I am alone. When I am alone. When I am alone. Oh, when I am alone. Jesus, give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world. Jesus, give me Jesus. The last verse is when I come to die. 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 Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world. Give me Jesus. And all verse again, give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. Give me Jesus. You can have all this world. Give me Jesus. Amen. Now go. Go and find your fire, find your hunger, find love, and remember to give the world Jesus and love your neighbors as much as you love yourself, as much as you love your God. Amen.